Uh, Thomas, actually, I cannot hear you, but I think I am audible now. So, Umar, I have configured the streaming software.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you live on Facebook?
I haven't seen yet. Yes, no, I think no. Just let me refresh. I think not.
How about YouTube?
Let me see. Yes, on YouTube we are live.
Okay, then we should be live on Facebook as well
Yes.
because I have configured it just like how it was last time. So there should be no reason that we are not live.
Mm-hmm.
Set up by video. Okay. Uh, I
Thomas
think
is asking that have you muted him?
no, no. I have not muted him. Uh, uh, no, no, Thomas. So I can see you in on stage presenters, off stage presenters. Bring on stage. So
Yes, now
Thomas,
now I think he would be able to. He says that my microphone. Now he can. Yes, now
Can you hear me?
yes.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Sorry for the background. It's like I said, I don't know. I got my timing all messed up here, so I apologize for that.
It's okay. So, hello everyone. I am Umar Javed and I am Business Development Manager at CyberPanel. So, today we are having webinar to discuss about web hosting and server management, and we have with us Usman, who is the founder of CyberPanel and Cloud Pages, and we have Thomas, who deals with the security of websites. So, we would be taking your questions. So basically, Usman will talk about the Apache in CyberPanel, and Thomas will talk about the security. So yes, so shall we begin, Usman?
Yes, definitely. Just give me a moment. Reason being that I don't know, like why they are, why the Facebook is not going live.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming software, yes, configured properly. Okay. Even I am able to see the stream on Facebook, but I'm just not able to.
I can neither see the stream or any update regarding this webinar, but on YouTube, I can see us live there.
Yes, obviously on YouTube we are definitely live. Streaming advanced settings. Really, I mean, frustrating. And anyways, maybe we can share the YouTube live link on Facebook as well. I'm not sure.
Yes, we can do it.
Uh,
He disappeared.
no, no.
So you guys are located in Pakistan?
Yes.
Yeah, I totally got the time conversion messed up, so I apologize for that.
It's okay.
So you're with CyberPanel also, Omer?
Yes, I am with CyberPanel and Cloud Pages both.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys. I think I don't know. Last time we have copied the stream keys and stuff, just like I'm doing it now. I'm not sure why is it not going live. Maybe we can share the YouTube live stream later in the group. So, in this webinar, specifically, we will be talking about OpenLiteSpeed plus Apache combination. And first of all, I mean, I like to thank everyone who registered and are listening to us now. And thank you to Thomas as well, who have joined us. He is in the hosting business for a long, long time, and he will be specifically talking about the security side of the websites. Before I start, there was one question when I shared the post today afternoon, that why would we use Apache, which is kind of an old server or an old technology, when we have obviously when we have Open Lightspeed and Lightspeed Enterprise, which is fast. And the answer to that question is uh, we are still using Open Lightspeed on the front end, and we are still recommending everyone to use Lightspeed cache, because our Apache integration makes sure that our LS cache plugins also works. So you won't be running into any performance issues in that regards. But what happens is with the Apache plus OpenLiteSpeed, on the front end is obviously OpenLiteSpeed, and on the back end is Apache. So as you know that Apache is obviously old, and lot of the applications are developed by keeping Apache as a focus. So developers obviously have extensively make extensive use of HTXS file. WordPress also use that file. The default WordPress rules are very basic, which even OpenLiteSpeed also supports. So when you have a basic WordPress site, it doesn't matter. But when you have a complex application, a WooCommerce store, or or maybe like PrestaShop or any other complex CMS, then obviously at some points you may need Apache uh, for full support of HTXS rules and other stuff which Apache offers, like mod headers, full HTXS compatibility. But at the same time, uh, when you are using it with OpenLiteSpeed, if there is a cache hit and you are using Lightspeed cache plugin, uh, OpenLiteSpeed will not hit Apache backend. You will get the same performance. But when there is a dynamic request involved, like your WordPress site need to hit the PHP, then obviously OpenLiteSpeed will pass the request to Apache. Apache will then process your PHP request, then pass the results back to OpenLiteSpeed, and OpenLiteSpeed will then pass the results back to the web browser. So I think that makes sense. Hopefully, the question is answered. And Open Lightspeed and Lightspeed Enterprise is really, I mean, great speed boosters. What happened a few days ago was we created a top notification on top of our website regarding that we have this webinar and people should join. So one of our colleague designed that pop-up notification, and mistakenly she disabled the LS Cache plugin on our CyberPanel website. Obviously, the CyberPanel website have lots of traffic. So someone in the group notified us that they are not able to install CyberPanel, and the CyberPanel website is down. So when I checked out, I noticed that there was the cache plugin was disabled, and there was lots of PHP processes forked, because obviously there is no cache hit, so lots of PHP processes were getting forked. So the main site went down. But as soon as I activated the LS cache again, the server load went down, and the site was back online again. So I mean, it really works great under pressure. Uh, you won't believe that such a huge site, CyberPanel, is hosted on a really small virtual machine using LS Cache. But obviously, when we disable LS Cache plugin, then we definitely run into troubles. So I think I have explained well that how OpenLiteSpeed and Apache basically works in CyberPanel. So you are basically getting the speed, and you are also getting the advanced functionality of Apache as well. So I would like to share my screen now. Umar, I am audible, right?
Yes, you are.
My voice is clear.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen, Umar?
Yes.
Okay, guys. This is our panel, and you all know that this is our panel dashboard. And when you want to create a website that uses the combination of OpenLiteSpeed and Apache, all you have to do is go to create website, fill all these details, and make sure to check this box, OpenLiteSpeed plus Apache. As you can also see that it is backend. OpenLiteSpeed is still the front end, and Apache runs on the backend. and this for now works for Ubuntu 22 and Alma Linux 8 only. So when you create this website will be created with Apache and OpenLiteSpeed. And if you don't check this, then it will be a normal website which uses OpenLiteSpeed. And one more thing, if you are using Lightspeed Enterprise, then you don't need Apache as a backend. Reason being, uh, Lightspeed Enterprise already have all the complex functionalities of Apache. Lightspeed Enterprise fully support all the STXS directives and other modules that Apache have. So with Lightspeed Enterprise, you won't even see that option. So this way you will use Apache and OpenLiteSpeed. So if you want to, like, if you have already created a website in CyberPanel and now you want to use Apache with it, you can also do that. Similarly, go to on the dashboard, just go to list websites, then select the website for which you want to use Apache, uh, and then go to Apache Manager. This website is already converted to use Apache, but if this is using OpenLiteSpeed, you will get an option here to convert this website to Lightspeed plus Apache combination. So as you can see that these are the Apache configurations. Uh, and if you want to see the OpenLiteSpeed configurations of the same website, you can also do so using the virtual host configurations here. Okay. The other main thing is that when you are using Apache and OpenLiteSpeed configuration, then obviously if you need to install any extension or if you need to, edit any PHP settings, then you will go to the edit PHP window, which you normally go. Uh, this window is for OpenLiteSpeed configuration. So if your site is using OpenLiteSpeed only, then you will have to edit these configurations. But if you are using Apache, then you have to go to edit Apache configurations. So similarly, you can edit the Apache configuration for your certain PHP version that you are using. And in the case of Apache, we are using PHP FPM as well. So similarly, the advanced configurations as well. And obviously, if you are using Apache, you may also need to install some additional extensions as well, which you can also install from the same window by going to Manage Apache Extensions. And here you can select the PHP version for which you want to install the extension, and you can search for the extension that you need, and then you install that extension. And if any extension is not available here, you can obviously go to Google and just follow the normal way of installing the extensions for PHP FPM. So it will work with CyberPanel as well. So I think that was from my side. And for the final words, I would say that you don't need to worry about performance when you are using Apache with OpenLiteSpeed. If you are using cache, then you don't need to worry about anything. You will still get the same performance, and you will also get the advanced features of Apache as well. So over to Thomas, and if anyone have any questions, they can either ask in our Facebook group, or I think we are also live on YouTube. They can ask there as well in the QA box. They can also ask. We will answer the questions at the end. So over to you, Thomas.
Okay, let me get my screen set up here. Let's see here. Hold on just 1 second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So a little bit about me first. My name is Tom Rafe. I'm the founder of We Watch Your Website. Been doing website security since 2007. I originally was servicing all of the Bluehost customers back in the day, and have since obviously branched out from there. Today, we have a server-based product that watches all of the websites on a VPS, DigitalOcean, Linode, whoever, OVH. Um, and so what we do is our server setup is that we put some agents on their server, but everything that we do is handled on our servers. So there's very little load on your web server. But currently we're watching over 6.2 million websites. So we obviously we gather a lot of information about current attacks, which ones are successful, which ones are reconnaissance, etc. So I've titled this, as you can see, lessons learned, basically from the trenches. So what we believe in is defense in depth. So some of these things are absolute necessities. You should have a web application firewall. Um, there's a variety of them out there. If you have specific questions about any one, put them in the comments here. But you really need to protect your sites because there's so many 0-day attacks that you can't plan for. So, and that's where the web application firewall comes into play. Now, somebody had asked in the Facebook group about do you need a web application firewall if you're using something like mod security, and you really don't. But it all depends on what rules you have in your set up in mod security. The second point is file monitoring. So, like I said before, we monitor the files in real time. So anytime a file is added or changed, it notifies us. We grab the file and analyze it for anything, any malware. And that's really a necessity, in today's world, because you never know, again, what's going to happen. Remediation should be, in our opinion, obviously automated, so that I don't have to, if I get a notification, if I'm a website owner or a small hosting provider, and I get a notification that one of the sites is infected, what do I have to do to get it cleaned? Do I have to notify somebody? Do I have to, log into a panel, a control panel, and select fix this, or what do I have to do? We believe in automated remediation. So, it's as soon as a file has been determined by the system that it's infected, it automatically gets cleaned. And since we're also streaming your log files live, we also know how it happened. And that leads us to number 4, root cause analysis. Too many times we've seen cases where people have an infected website and it gets infected over and over again. Why? Because they never found out how the hackers got in the first place. So you really need to know how it happened, and that's the root cause analysis. So for web application firewalls, it must be aware. You can't just slap up a generic set of rules on a web application firewall, because rules are different. For Joomla, Drupal, whatever. Um, uh,
Um, uh,
you there? Can you
Yes,
still hear me?
can you still hear? Yes, yes, we can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. I'm hearing feedback here. Uh, so you have to have specific rules for each website. If I have a website that's WooCommerce based, obviously it's going to have different rules than just a mom and pop uh, display type website, just showing some pictures. Um, and you need to know, what could a hacker attack? Can they attack your database? Can they attack different plugins, an outdated theme, etc.? So you need the feedback and the log analysis as part of a WAF, a web application firewall, because you need to know what's going on. You need to be able to look back and say, I didn't update this plugin for 3 weeks, and now my site's infected. And I have on here also, can it be bypassed? And I encourage you, whatever web application firewall you're using, to just Google, WAF bypass. So like if you're using WordFence, you could plug in how to bypass WordFence, and you'll see. I mean, there's a lot of information up on the internet about how to bypass various um, web application firewalls. But if they're properly tuned, you can reduce that risk, that attack surface tremendously. And there's also, there's normalization. There's also HTTPS parameter pollution. So you need a web application firewall that's aware of these things and can actually help protect your site. File monitoring. Obviously, we believe in real-time monitoring is king, um, and it needs to. One of the reports we put out recently, we worked with another security researcher, Calvin Aiken from Germany, and we showed how um, when hackers do get into a website, they can whitelist their malicious files. So, like for a security plugin, on WordPress, what the hackers were doing is they found out how to whitelist files that would bypass the malware scanning of some very popular security plugins. And what that did was the scanner would scan the site looking for malware, but it says, okay, well, I've got this list of files that I should just ignore. Well, the hackers had infected that list of ignored files, so their stuff wasn't even getting scanned for malware. It was just flying right past. And that's because once a hacker gets into a site, they have the same permissions as the user of that, the the server user for that website. So whatever the site has access to, so does the hacker, and that includes the plugins, the plugin database, etc. So hackers just like reverse engineer the security plugins, and now they know how to use that security plugin to keep their malicious code up on a site. We've also seen recently where hackers will infect a site. They find out what security plugins on there, and if it's one that does like on-site scanning for malware, what they do is they figure out where to inject code so that as soon as the scanner is finished and it removes malware from the site, the hackers add code to that program so that as soon as the malware scan is finished, it reinfects the site with new malicious code. And then it just waits for the next scan, and then the next scan runs. Maybe it finds the new code, maybe it doesn't, but as soon as it's done, it reinfects the site again. So, hackers are very smart, and they're this is their bread and butter. This is how they make a living. So they they're good at it. Um, so the important part here is too much resource consumption on shared accounts. So in a case like CyberPanel, um, you don't have to worry about that because you don't have shared accounts. You're on your own server. But you still don't want too much resource consumption. You want it handled off site as much as possible. And you have to detect all file additions and modifications, not just ones that haven't been that have been whitelisted. Um, I have this iNotify and FA Notify. Those are part of the Linux kernel. They are ways of detecting file changes. So, if you want to attack this on your own, you can look at those two. They both have Python libraries for them, so you could write your own, file monitoring application. And I said, we believe in remote file monitoring so that no server resources are used and malware detection methods can be vast, which means like we could easily write an antivirus program that you could install on your server, but one, it's going to use way too many resources. And our particular system, we don't just work off of signatures, we also do behavior analysis and anomaly detection. And
Thomas,
the behavior analysis takes up a lot of resources. So you would basically have to double your the RAM and then the number of cores on your processor for every server that you have in order to handle something like that. We don't do it that way. We ship everything off to our servers.
can you hear me, Thomas?
Yes, I can hear you.
Uh, Thomas, there was one question which we can discuss later. But back to your previous point of file changes. So, what tools do you recommend for that? I mean, I think file looking for file changes can be really resource heavy for small virtual machines.
Now, see, we use there's a Linux program called AuditD,
Okay.
AUDITD, and you can configure that for file changes. So you could point it to your web directory for each of the sites on the server, and tell it to monitor those for any file changes, and then any file changes that it detects, it would send, like for our system, it sends us a notification. Then we grab that file from that server and analyze it on our servers. So there's no resource consumption whatsoever.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so, like I
And
said,
also, sorry to interject you, Thomas.
that's okay.
Someone is asking, and Jacob is asking that can you please post a link to your security company?
Yes. Um, where I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with this with Big Marker here, so I'm looking around for where I should post that. But basically, our website is wewatchyourwebsite.com.
Okay, let me answer him on YouTube because he asked this question on YouTube.
Okay.
There is another question as well if you want to answer right away.
Okay.
It would be great if you could at least mention some useful leading tools such as WFs. So I think Nick is asking this question that if you could, the one tool you mentioned is Audit D
Yes.
for file changes.
And then you can also, um, all that's going to do is detect it and log it. So you need a way of notification, but there's if you look at Audit D, if you Google for it, you'll find various samples online that people could create, roll their own basically. The other tools are iNotify
Hmm.
and FA Notify. Both are embedded in the Linux kernel.
By the way, I think people will be really interested to hear from you that do you use mod security or any firewall plugin on WordPress side like WordFence or iTheme security, things like
Um,
that.
some of the ones that I typically recommend are uh, iTheme Security, and Jetpack has a security module that not a whole lot of people know about, but um, it's a pretty good um, plugin as well. My thing is with security plugins is if they're not 100% um, blocking all malicious actions, if hackers get in, they can modify the code for that plugin to allow their malware to exist, or sometimes to allow attacks to happen. So, that's the problem with the security plugin. But those are two that I typically recommend would be iTheme Security, which is now Solid WP. I believe they just changed their name. And the other one would be Jetpack Security.
Hmm.
Um, So anyway, yeah, you have to have remediation also. Like I said, it's not just a matter of detecting when a file changes. You have to determine, is it malicious or not? Um, was code injected into an existing file? We've seen sites where hackers injected malicious code into every JavaScript file on the site. So the hackers backdoor plugin, backdoor scans for all .js files and then injects code into every one of them, and it's always like a redirect or something like that. So you know you have not only just detect when a file is changed or added, but also analyze it for anything malicious.
Hmm.
um, and
How they make
that's
a
a part of that is also um, root cause analysis. You got to find out how the heck it happened.
Hmm.
So let's see here. Uh, root cause analysis. How did it happen? Sometimes you can tell by the file location. Sometimes you can tell. Way you can tell is through log analysis. And like I said, we stream log files in real time. Again, so we're not analyzing the log files on your server because that would take up too many resources. So we stream everything um, as it happens. All your access logs we stream to our servers. Right now, our our system can take 20 million log entries per second. I know it
Hmm.
sounds like a lot, and it is, but we built a system for scalability. So some easy steps for prevention on WordPress sites. Um, you can deactivate PHP in the WP uploads folder. You can do that with htaccess files and php.ini files, which is a benefit for um, using Apache like you guys, like CyberPanel does, because there's so many php.ini samples and htaccess samples on there to really protect your site. And I would say, they uh, anybody participating in this webinar, if you're looking for some sample uh, php.ini and some htaccess files, ping ping us afterwards, and I can supply you some. Um, Block known bad user agents. Too many times, you know, a user agent is something that's easy to change, for a hacker, but typically they don't. Like the current version right now of Chrome, I think is like version 116, 115, 116. we constantly see attacks from hackers where they're using like version 54 of Chrome. So I'm sorry if somebody's using, if somebody hasn't updated their browser in like a few years, you got to kind of assume that they're going to be, it's a bad actor. It's somebody trying to do something bad to your site. But another good program is Fail to Ban. And you can set that up on your server, and there's a plugin for it as well for WordPress. And what that does is you can set thresholds, like um, for somebody trying to log into your WordPress dashboard with the user admin. If they try it 3 times in 10 minutes, block them for 2 hours. So you can set up those parameters with Fail to Ban, and it's reactive in the fact that you know hackers have to you know try that 3 times from either the same IP address or with the same username. But and there are cases where people get locked out of their WordPress site because they don't remember the password, and they try it 3 times, and Fail to Ban says, "Up, nope, you must be trying to get in, and you're guessing password, so we're just going to block you." And people are like, "Ah, dang it, I forgot my password." Um, but also, there's some plugins that will enable you to set up two-factor authentication, 2FA. So it would like send a code, to your phone or to your email address. So you have to type in the password, but then you also have to have this code that's like generated every time you try to log in, and that really helps with protecting your site as well. And the last thing, always use a strong antivirus program on every local device. So if you're giving out admin rights to a developer, um, wherever they may be, you need to be sure that they have a good antivirus program running on their computer. Yes, even Macs. Macs are susceptible to viruses as well, because a large majority of times what we're seeing now is that hackers will infect somebody's local computer, and they know that WordPress is by far the most popular web development platform on the internet. I don't know how many. Last I saw, I think there was like over 700 million WordPress sites on the internet. It may be, may even be over a billion by now, but there's a lot. So when hackers infect your local computer, they just wait. They have programs that specifically wait for you to log into a WordPress site, and it records everything. It records the login URL, the username, and the password, and it sends it to the hacker's system where it's all automated. As soon as the hacker's system gets your login credentials, it logs in. Maybe it creates a new admin user. Maybe it uploads a bogus plugin, uploads some malicious backdoor shell scripts, whatever, but it's all automated. So it all starts because somebody had a virus on their local computer. So you always have to have a good antivirus program. So that wraps up what I had to say about security. Do we have any other questions?
Um, I do see some questions. Okay, I think now we are also live on Facebook as well, and Nick have some confusions that it is not clear to me what you meant by frontend and where Apache is OLS used. It sounds like OLS would work for cache static pages, but anything that isn't cache example that would be passed to Apache and then WordPress. It is my understanding, and that yes, Nick, you are pretty much right. So what happens is when there is like if you are using pure OpenLiteSpeed and there is a cache hit, so even OpenLiteSpeed will not hit the backend. By backend, I mean PHP. It will not for PHP processes, and that is the great bottleneck for all the servers. And similarly, in the case when you are using OpenLiteSpeed with Apache, uh, when there is a cache hit, OpenLiteSpeed will not even hit Apache, and then obviously Apache will not hit the PHP. But if there is not a cache hit, then obviously OpenLiteSpeed will ask Apache that I need this page. Apache, if this is a dynamic request, then Apache will fork the PHP process, which is in this case is PHP FPM is used, and the website will be processed. And you are right that LSPHP is great and optimized PHP, but the trade-off here is the amount of features you can get with Apache. On the on the same side, so if you need LSPHP and Apache, the features of Apache as well, then obviously you can opt out for Lightspeed Enterprise. So that can also be done. So it's a slight trade-off. Most of the time, I think LS cache is really intelligent. You will be getting cache hits, and in the case of no hit, you will be hitting the back end. In which I means it is Apache and PHP as well. So there is one question by Dima. Uh, Dima, apparently you are still using OpenLiteSpeed on the front end. So if this is something related to PHP, and as Thomas had mentioned that you can also use user.ini files, which you can't use with OpenLiteSpeed, but if you are using the combination, you can use those files as well. But HTTP 103 early hits, I think it would not work. I will double check. But since the front end web server is still OpenLiteSpeed, so I think it will not work. Umar, do you see any other questions?
I think you have answered all. I have sent you on WhatsApp. If you have answered those as well, then there are none.
So
Yes,
since
there
yes,
is a question for, I think, uh, is there a specific plugin you recommend that can prevent from excessive hits to slow page? I think it is from Jacob to Thomas.
yes.
For slow pages,
Yes.
that sounds more like a caching issue, but
No,
um,
I think what was the question again?
Question is, how about uh, I have seen bots hit pages with slow queries and it quickly consumes all of the server's resources. So that's why he's asking, is there a specific plugin you recommend that can prevent from excessive hits to slow page?
um, no, what I would do there, because if it's a plugin, the plugin has to process each of the bot requests, and that's, whether it's a slow query or not, it's going to consume resources. So the hackers could basically do like a DDoS, like a distributed denial of service attack, just by letting your plugin try and analyze all their requests. What I would do is I would see where that bot request is coming from, what IP address, and also what user agent. So I would look at the logs to see, look for some uh, commonality with the attacks, and then write a rule to block that at the server level. One of the things that we do is we block, like, I've asked this, I've given talks at CyberPanel conferences and not cyber, I'm sorry, cPanel conferences, and all sorts of hosting cons, etc., different conferences. And one of the questions I ask people, like, is there any reason that a website hosted on GoDaddy would want to try and log into your WordPress site hosted on CyberPanel? And there isn't. So why not just block ahead of time? Block all the IP address ranges for Bluehost, for GoDaddy, Bluehost, HostMonster, pick them, and we've got this huge list. But when you install that on the server, the server is optimized, and it's, without getting too technical, um, the server is using like layer 4 of the OSI model, the network layer, to block that. So it's never getting to the application. So the resource usage is like minimal. And people can say, well, blocking by IP address isn't really, um, it's not really sound security practices. Oh, but it is, because on sites that we've set, on servers that we've set that up on, it'll block 20,000 requests in a day for one single website. So it is highly effective. So like I said, for that person, I would strongly encourage them, if they want to reach out to me, they can, and I will, look at their log files, and I can come up with a strategy to help them block those bot requests.
Okay. Please, maybe you can write about it on forum topic.
And you can provide people with my email address if you want.
Yes,
Yes, for
definitely.
sure. I have already provided Jacob your website, and I think from website he can get anything.
Okay.
So there are further, please, man. Can you write about? Yes, I will also talk with the Lightspeed team internally regarding this as well, and we will definitely get back to you. How about yes? How about SFTP method? On there was this big misconfusion about this, that we have removed this feature, but as you guys know that we uh, got audited by RAC 911. So there was some issue in SFTP incremental backups related to security. So they were wrong by design. So we will have to remove that. The S3 and the other one was fine, so we kept it for the incremental one. We have to remove that for due to some issues. So I think Nick is still not clear. Uh, it sounds like it would be. Yes, Nick. Obviously, HTXS is something which you can use with lots of stuff. Like you can use it for security as well, for setting headers as well. It can also be used for setting caching for static resources. There are many modules in Apache, and apart from that, as Thomas was talking about the user.ini files, that as well. Since we came live on Facebook later, I will just give a brief overview of what we discussed earlier regarding Apache and OpenLiteSpeed. I was just saying that if you use OpenLiteSpeed plus Apache combination, on the front end, by front end I mean is the server which is connecting to the browser is still OpenLiteSpeed. You are still talking to OpenLiteSpeed. The web request goes to OpenLiteSpeed. OpenLiteSpeeds then check its cache engine. If the page is available in cache engine, then OpenLiteSpeed does not invoke Apache. It serves the page from its cache. If the page is not available in the cache, it then invokes Apache, and Apache then obviously invokes PHP. So if your page is in cache, then you will get the same performance as you were getting earlier with using pure OpenLiteSpeed. And similarly, but obviously there are further layers, because if you are using pure OpenLiteSpeed, then you have only uh, one additional layer. Like if the page is not in cache, so you only invoke LSPHP, but here you have an additional layer of Apache and then PHP. But all in all, if as the LS cache plugin is very intelligent, and if you are using it, then you are good. The caching will still work as it used to work, uh, and you will be getting some extra features. Like most of the WordPress stuff works on OpenLiteSpeed, but some stuff like some complex stuff or complex apps like PrestaShop, OpenCart, even Laravel, and they sometimes needs Apache support. And in terms of security, I always recommend that if you set up CyberPanel, the first thing that you should be doing is uh, change the default password, or better, it is better that during installation you don't select the default password. You are usually given the option, and then after changing the password, uh, you should be you should also be applying 2FA on CyberPanel. And if it is your personal installation and only you will be using it, then it is also recommended to disable access on port 8090. You can only enable it for your IP. Similarly, also make sure to disable password authentication on SSH. Make sure it is better to use key-based authentication. Okay, there are for more questions. First, can you please resolve point as keep what has been engaging as also sleep panel. Someone is asking about question on C panel, H panel. So
No, I think that question is for Thomas. You are you have read the question of Elizabeth, I think.
yes,
Yes, I think Elizabeth is asking from Thomas. For starters, can you please share our resource point as a guide, and also what the best practice with engaging an outsourced service to protect cPanel or HPanel?
yes. So C panel is our kind of alternative. But I guess is a general question, Thomas. No problem if you'd like to answer.
Yeah, I mean, there's again, I mean, it's in depth. So, um, if she would like to contact me, you know, like I said on Skype, where we watch your website. Email is traef at wewatchyourwebsite.com. So just reach out and you know I can provide more information. It would be another hour of explaining how to protect cPanel and HPanel. So um, yeah, that's the best I can say.
And Usman, there is question from Kilian. What changes happened with SSL? Suddenly could not issue SSL if don't provide an email address hosted in CyberPanel hosting panel.
No, I don't think so. That is the case. It can be a one-off case. It should not be. The SSL mechanism work the same way it used to be. You can reach out to our support team. We can check it for you, but it should work.
And the final question is from Lakshman Chaudhary, and he's asking that which architecture is best, client OLS or client Cloudflare?
I thank you for providing CyberPanel to your clients. I have which OLS, client OLS with LS cache enabled WordPress side, or this combination client cloud proxy enabled OLS. I think Thomas, that is subjective. Like they are asking, we are using, we should be using Cloudflare or not. That is basic question.
Um, Again, it's going to boil down to you know what you're looking for. If you're using the OLS, Open Lightspeed at the front end and Apache on your back end, so Open Lightspeed is doing the caching. There's only so much caching is going to help. So if you're looking for Cloudflare to do caching for you, um, you just have to take a look at your stack. Do you really want to add Cloudflare to cache what Open Lightspeed's already caching? If you're looking for Cloudflare for security, again, the free version of Cloudflare, I think you get it's either 3 or 5 rules, not really a whole lot to protect your site. And in any kind of security setup, whether it be mod security or Cloudflare, it's all going to be dependent on your rules. So, um, I guess if you want more protection in the cloud, you could go to Cloudflare, but I would suggest you take a look at like one of their paid plans where you can update more. You can have more rules set up for each, for your site. So, it all depends on what you're looking for.
Hmm. So I think we have okay. One last question. Most of the data, Jesus and Ibrahim. Yes, Lakshman, I do agree that most of the big providers block the 425. I think you can request AWS to unblock this port. And apart from that, Vulture and Hetzner Cloud, uh, they don't block it. Maybe for new accounts they do block it, but you can request them and they will. If you have a genuine case, then they can unblock for you. Obviously, they will not allow mass emailing and stuff like that. So you can check Azure Cloud, Vulture. They all allow. We have an accounts with them, and they allow 425. And even AWS unblocks this port on request. So I think that wraps it up. It was a great session, I believe, and thank you, Thomas.
Thank you for the
For
opportunity, guys.
yes, thank you for
I like
coming.
your platform. I like CyberPanel. It's nice. It's fast.
Yes, Thomas, we are definitely trying to make it further better as well, and there are a lot of good things coming. So hopefully we are in right direction as well. And also thank you to everyone who joined and listened to us for 1 hour almost.
Yeah, we had some
So
glitches in the beginning, but we made it through, right?
yes, actually, the big marker is even new for me as well. So when while I was enabling the stream, I don't know why it was not going live. So why? But then I configured it later and it worked. So thank you, Umar. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, all the guests, and hope to see you next time.
Yes. Thank you.
Let me know if you guys have any security questions.
Yes, we have mentioned Thomas a couple of times in our group as well. You can directly contact him through there, or he. I think he have already mentioned his email and website as well. So any questions or anything you need, you can contact him directly.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.